Welcome to the August 26, 2013 Town of Rhinebeck Board Meeting. Gina will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's see, announcements. We don't have any prepared. Any from the board?
I just want to congratulate everyone on a fantastic fair, and all of the support staff did great. The weather cooperated. I think the town came through it beautifully, and I just hope everyone was able to enjoy it.
Sorry, your biscuits didn't.
Jesus, I
They looked good.
by the
They
judges.
looked good.
Pardon my language.
I have one other announcement. I think it's maybe a little loud. Is it echoing?
Gina was messing with it. I don't know.
I just want to note and apologize for the agenda not being posted until this morning and emailed out. There was a glitch. We're aware of it. Hopefully, we fixed the glitch, and the tech initiative will go a long way to helping it. So.
Any other announcements?
Yeah, one other announcement. At the next meeting, Julian Adams is from Albany, is going to talk about historic preservation and the range of possible actions we could take if we wanted to take an action.
Great. Who is this Julian Adams again?
He is with this New York State Historic Preservation
Chippo.
group, SHPA. Very good, thanks. Bruce.
Chippo.
Chapeau. Well, thanks, Joe. That'll be good.
Any from the audience? Okay, we're moving right along. I make a motion to approve the minutes of August 12th, 2013. Is there a second?
Second?
Bruce, on that on 9, item 9 about the credit card, it didn't pass, but not by a 2-to-1 vote. There was no majority.
It failed 2-to-1 to 1. Did I say pass?
Right, but you have cost defeated 2-to-1.
Right, it was
There were
defeated.
4 people who voted.
It should say 2-to-1 to 1. I'll correct that.
Okay, yeah, that's the only correction.
Okay, with the corrections, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nobody's opposed, all right. Liaison reports. Elizabeth.
I have I don't think I read this out because I have a written report from the Board of Assessment Review and the grievances. We had 60 complaints received, 32 were heard by the assessors, 34 by the Board of Assessment Review. We had 14 stipulations done by the assessors. The number of grievances by the Board of Assessment Review that were unchanged are 23, and they decreased 23. We granted 3 exemptions, and all of the notices and letters of determinations were mailed out.
And there were no food fights?
I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Webb, I told you. No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Gina?
Cemetery has their budget things ready. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow and drop it off for Shelley.
Joe?
2 things. With respect to the town clerk, our special prosecutor appeared for the first time at a session on August 15 before Judge Kane. Things went very well. I spoke with Judge Kane afterwards. He was pleased. There were 17 plea agreements, and our special prosecutor met with 8 different police officers. And parking on the pavement, please, there was about $1,400 in revenue. With respect to the Affordable Housing Committee, John Lyons got back to us with his changes on the draft. Basically, they were technical changes and no problems. But he pointed out that, in his view, with respect to the density bonus, that would require a full CEQA review. The committee is going to meet again on Thursday and review the density bonus language. There are proposed changes to that language to better express the intent, although I do envision that at least from one person there will be opposition to the concept of density bonus. The committee will make a presentation on density bonus at the next town board meeting. So, John, if you can schedule them. For those who don't remember, and I'm sure Bruce will remember, the concept of a density bonus is not something the committee dreamt up. It is in the existing zoning law that there would be a density bonus. And the committee has struggled with this because although the previous board said there should be a density bonus, it really wasn't spelled out, and density bonuses are nowhere spelled out in the zoning code. So the committee did the best it can. It's going to look at the language and we'll make a presentation. In the meantime, I'll consult with Ed Fink if we have to do a full-blown CEQA analysis, how much that will be. So far, we've spent a minimal amount. Ted Fink was $1,500, and John Lyons about $750. So we've really kept expenses down, and obviously, since I drafted it, town has saved thousands and thousands of dollars. But the issue is open, and there'll be a full discussion on density bonuses.
When is the open space affordable housing meeting? Is it Thursday at
This
7 here?
Thursday, no, at 5:30 at the library,
Star in the basement.
in the basement.
I'm going to let our zoning review group know, because we did discuss this in the zoning review group, and there are concerns with the density bonus and the what it's trying to achieve and how it's trying to achieve it. So I think if John Lyons and Michael Trimble and/or Dave Baldorf and I or anyone want to go to that meeting, we will, and certainly it should be vetted publicly.
Well, just be careful on John Lyons. He has been retained as town attorney, and he shouldn't appear as an advocate of one position or the other. So I don't want to compromise
Well, our
him.
Sure, I understand that. That makes sense. But, certainly there's a point of view with the density bonus that I think we have to be careful about.
Sure, but, you may want to let the committee make its presentation at a workshop, and, anybody can come to that.
That's it? Thank you, Joe. Joe and I
Thanks, Joe.
spent too many hours together with the union negotiations this afternoon, so
I'm good.
we're tired of talking to each other. Let's see.
We'll
my
talk about that in executive session.
Yeah, well, just, people keep asking, as far as the Beaver Dam goes, the landfill, we're still on schedule to put the third pipe in late October. Dog park, we ran into a problem that the way the area was created, it was fill from old shale that had been bulldozed and that. So we're trying to figure out what's the cheapest way of doing that to get the chain link in. We have enough money for everything, but we're still trying to keep it on the cheap. Vanderburg Cove, Shelley got the final submission to the DEC in last week.
She found the document she needed?
No, that was,
Okay.
we had sent things in, we've been negotiating with them, And there were certain expenses that we think are fair and they don't think are fair. So we've added a few other things, got rid of the ones that they don't like. So it's around $1 million, so that's going to work out okay. The accounting issues are still being investigated. That's the documents. Once we get these two things closed, then we can do the budget for Vanderburg Cove. Thompson Mazzarella Park, the joint village and town hearing, public hearing with the planning boards is in 2 weeks. I think it's 16th or 19th.
16.
And that should be exciting. And the RFPs for the engineer for the ADA accessible pavilion have come in, and right now they're being evaluated. There's a wide range in them, and then they go to the committee for to be vetted and then come to us. Let's see, pool, we got a complaint from somebody about the lights in the water.
Lost my phone.
The lights is pretty simple. We just change the timers when the trees don't have the leaves on them anymore, usual thing. We'll fix that. The water is a problem, though. Bobby thinks the pit is leaking, and we're losing about 1,000 gallons a day. So we have to, once we shut down the pool, we're going to have to seal the pit. More details in the future. Let's see, rec, well, you know, camp went pretty well. Attendance was above projections. The concession stand is now closed. It didn't make sense to keep it open to pay the staff, so the cashier is distributing drinks and snacks, so that kind of thing. We're going to do the budget Wednesday night, so. Let's see, there's a $7.4 billion super fund for the Hudson Valley, and Victor Cornelius sent me a note on it, wanting to know if we wanted a wastewater collection system to go in here, and we'd talked about Rhinecliff before.
Rhinecliff.
So I checked with them a little bit, and it doesn't have to be shovel-ready. All you have to do is commit the money by 1st of January, or January of 2015. So if this is something we want to do, we're going to have to get moving on it fairly quickly.
It's wastewater, not storm drainage.
Well, because of the I&I, you have to do both, right? It's
What's I&I, Bruce?
it's the infiltration. If your stormwater runs into your sewage
Right.
systems, then
We have the blind ditch
Which is
problem.
what it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
There.
But I checked with him on the roads and everything, and he said that would all be covered. That's part of the collection system, part of it. So fixing the blind ditches and all that other
We
stuff.
fire up the Rhinecliff Advisory
Yeah.
Council again?
Yeah, I think we
Committee?
should if the board's interested in this. It doesn't sound like the capital costs of doing this would affect Rhinecliff residents, but the ongoing, you're going to have a sewer district then.
Yes.
And so they're going to have an ongoing cost with that. I don't know what that's going to be.
So there's no matching grant for the construction?
He said the most he's ever heard was up to 10%, but usually, because of the way the funding is going, it's 100% right now. You know, we would do if we did this, we'll bring them in for a pitch or something.
Yeah.
But we should
Okay.
get them going again.
Do you have this written out that you could forward to me in an email, or do you want me to just,
Why don't you talk to Victor? I can send you his email if you don't have it.
yep,
Let's see, the last thing on my little list is Town Hall. Bobby wanted me to advise the board that he's been told that if he replaces the valves on all the radiators, we may not have to go for the boiler, plumbing, and asbestos, because they may be the problem. It's not that expensive, it's just he can do all the work.
we should try that.
But if it doesn't work, then
Who told him that?
the experts at
The valve
Costco and
salesman.
Bottini.
Huh.
So,
Seems too easy to me, but
well, they'd
certainly
suggested
worth
it.
trying.
Yeah, and, because we're, you know, we've listened to the asbestos a little bit, and we're looking at a lot of money. So, I don't know, should we go ahead with that, do you think, or try it?
Sure.
I think so. Do we have to vote on it?
What is the estimate for replacing all the valves?
Oh, I think he said we were like 150 apiece. I think we have it in the budget, so or we can cover
And
it.
how many are there?
There's like 60 of them in the place.
16
60.
or 60?
Yeah, they're all over the place. They're under here, they're over the place. I don't know what you call them, but they're the things on the end that collect the air and let
Steam
it,
valves.
yeah, I don't know. So that's it from me, sorry to feel
So
badly.
60 times, you said 160
150.
each valve?
Yeah, and I'll get a better
Okay,
number,
maybe
and
we should
I'll
get a
send it to
better
you. But
number.
we don't want to wait too long, we can do it at the next meeting,
Yeah,
because we want to get it done before the heating season starts. But
If it's that expensive for the total job, we need to go out for a bid, don't you think?
Right.
Yeah.
We've also looked at other alternatives, running the vent pipes outside and other things, but we're going to have to fix it
It's going
sooner
to
or
be
later.
bad, I know.
Okay, new business. John informed me that the number 5 on the new business, the resolution approving a contract renewal for the postage meter, is included in the vouchers on the abstract. So I will make a motion to approve the contract renewal for the postage meter. Is there a second? We have Gina second it. Discussion.
how does this relate to the test that we were gonna,
You got to chime in, John.
It's just that we're maybe running out of time on this. It was due a month or so ago. We've been extending it. It's up to you. I still don't have the authority to use a credit card for the online one. So we can go ahead with this and wait another year or make a decision on the other one, but we have to make a decision.
It's $50 a month for the postage machine. The online stamps that's what we'd save on it. And also the time of being able to drop things off at the post office for bulk mailings. Which is a half day here, a half day
Sounds like we should run
there.
the test. Do we have time? Say we got you a credit card tonight, or voted for it. Do we still have time to delay signing the contract? Let's try.
Probably have a couple of weeks.
So do we discuss the credit card now?
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to table number 5. We'll move on to the credit card.
Can you vote to approve this, and then we can not send out the check? Or does it have to go out once it's approved?
Well, you want to keep this going for a while anyway during the test, right? That's really what, right? And we get
Okay,
credit
so-
back if we take it back.
Okay, so then let's approve this and then move forward. Okay,
And we can hold on to the check.
right, got it.
Okay.
So I motion that we approve the 5th resolution.
I think I did that.
Second.
I think you did that. All right, all
Oh, I
those in
did
favor?
already, of course. Okay, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Now, in connection
You're right,
with
Bruce.
this, how do we get John a credit card? Don't we?
Well, that's farther down now.
That's
Now we're going to
next.
discuss
Okay,
that
that was
later.
further
All
down.
right, all right. So then, number 1 in the new business is I make a motion for approving abstract 8B vouchers V807 to V850, 39 checks for $81,584.52, which includes the one that we just approved. Is there a second?
Second it.
Discussion?
Yeah, there were 4 pretty big items in here that haven't been approved. That's why I didn't sign them.
Okay. Want to bring them up, or?
Just some insurance, it's a fund transfer to the fire departments that has to go out, but I think that needs to be approved before we can sign off on it. And also, there was an $18,750 fund appropriation to transfer 25% of the deductible of our insurance. I guess I'm looking for guidance. I didn't sign it because there was no approval.
Well,
Which
we
is what
should get
we're not supposed
approval.
to sign.
Am I incorrect in thinking on the fire department, we got the money from the state and we
Yeah,
just
this
passed
is
it
just, this
through?
is
It-
only,
Exactly.
this is just a procedural issue that I'm
Right,
bringing up.
I
We're not
understand.
supposed to sign vouchers that haven't been,
Right, we got to get our supervisor here to sign things.
Is there any word on when he can come in and sign some things, John? Because we've got a few things in the pipeline.
I'll check.
Okay. Bruce, do you know?
No.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to pull those items? We're going to have to call them out.
Well,
Or do you want to go ahead?
I would have,
I think go ahead, and then when he signs them, then it can be ready to go.
yeah, if it's just pass-through of money to the fire department, I don't know why we should hold that. The transfer of the money for our deductible, we're just putting that in a bank account.
It's not, that's not the issue. The issue is that the state, the controller says we're not supposed to
Yes,
do it.
no,
So
I-
that's the issue.
I
I just
understand.
raise it for discussion, and I'll be happy to sign it. It's not that I don't want to sign it, I just want to know that someone knows where the money is.
I'm glad it's you this time,
Right?
not
I
me.
sound like you.
Yeah. Okay.
But the issue is whether we approve it tonight or not, or hold it for 2 weeks.
I think we have, I think we
There's
have.
no reason not to approve it and as long as we're monitoring that it's done correctly. So I say we vote.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Abstain.
All right, motion passes. Let's see, I make a motion approving the preliminary capital project abstract, one check for $2,644. Is there a second? Okay, discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Joe, were you in on this?
Pardon me?
Did you say aye?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
I didn't hear you, sorry. Maybe I've been tuning you out all afternoon. Okay, I make a motion approving town hall usage application for Sinterklaas. Is there a second?
Second.
There was some discussion on this, I believe, or not? This is a Friday and Saturday? There's no conflicts? Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution approving town hall usage applications from the Daughters of the American Revolution. Motion, I make it.
Second.
Okay.
Was their date open-ended on this? Or, like, if you look at the application, is it one blank something, like 12/1, or is it 12/1?
No, it's 12/1.
It's December 1st? Okay. Good, I'm fine with that.
Looking at the resolution, let me just point out that they want it Sunday, December 1st through 10 a.m. through 8 p.m., which would conflict with an item for discussion with respect to the farmer's market. So I don't know if you want to hold that pending that discussion.
Has the farmer's market scheduled yet?
No.
Okay, well, let's hold it. Let's hold it in
Okay.
advance till then.
Yeah, let's come back to it
Yeah.
after that discussion.
Okay.
And do we know if there's a possibility if they could do it on Saturday instead? I thought traditionally they had it on Saturday.
I will say that they had a lot of trouble getting a date, and this was one of the few. They were closed out by a couple of people who got, they originally wanted a Friday that was already reserved for Winnicke. And there was the Sinterklaas one, and they were kind of down to this.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the discussion item, winter's farmer's market. Joe, I guess you put that on?
Right, this is a continuation. The Winters Farmers Market has expressed some interest in running the farmers market here in the town hall every Sunday during the winter season. As I reported at that time, I did speak with our neighbors, one of whom has voiced, at least to me, great unhappiness because he feels it's disruptive to him. The other neighbor was concerned with backing into bushes. I had told the representative of the farmers market that in our preliminary discussion, the idea had been advanced that maybe 3 weeks out of 4, so there'll at least be an opportunity for somebody else to use the town hall, such as the DAR. We talked about, in our last discussion, other possible places, the firehouse upstairs, the parish hall at the church, although that doesn't seem feasible because Sundays are the busy day at the church. And that's where we are. We deferred action on it, and I think the farmers market would like to test out what our view is. I did express the view that the town hall floors take a big beating here, that before the last season, the floor shined and it really looked better than it ever did. And without fault, these chairs are very heavy to move. They get dragged across the floor when setting up for the farmers market. They also crates setting up. They're not carried. They're dragged again. And I think our floors do not look very good. There's marks on it. At least I was told that it's probably just wax deep, and they may come out, but it's obvious wear and tear on the floors. So that if we, it's my own view, if we were going to allow more usage, I would like to see an obligation at the end and possibly at the beginning to do wax floor so they can shine again at least at some time. And we would have to talk about the fee for increased usage, because at some point extra usage will result in wearing out earlier than otherwise would.
Steve?
Hi all, Steve Block. It is a service to the community, to the vendors, to the consumers who come to the farmers market. And we certainly recognize that there is wear and tear, as there is when the town provides a service to the community in any other facility. I mean, you talked about the pool tonight. I don't know if there's been serious repairs yet on the pool, but I remember me talking. I remember when I was sitting there some years ago, there was a lot of talk about the pool was going to require serious repairs. I mean, it is part of what our responsibility is as a municipality, is to provide services to the community, and there is wear and tear. And certainly we're prepared to do anything that's reasonable to accommodate the continued usage of the facility, and certainly if we have to wax at the end, I mean, that's not an impossible burden to undertake. I do want to make the point that part of our reason for wanting to go weekly is to duplicate the success we've had in the summer. It's about people's shopping habits. It's about people, their routines for buying groceries and buying fruits and vegetables and meats and chicken. People tend to do it on a weekly basis, and we think that the farmers market will be that much more successful if we're able to get into a routine in the winter as we have in the summer months. And that's pretty much the main reason, I think, why we're coming to you with this request. As I say, anything that's reasonable, we're certainly willing to entertain in the way of responsibility for what happens on the floor as a result of our usage. And we just hope that you see it as the service that we think we provide to the community. And you all know that we've now had 5 years in a row, is it, of designation as designation as the best market in the Hudson Valley. We're celebrating our 20th year this year. And so we think it's a good moment for us to move towards a weekly market in the winter. So I hope you do give us that opportunity.
Thank you, Steve.
Steve, if we did something like the every other week in November and December, and then went to 3 or 4 in the 2014, is that something you could work with?
Can I?
You have a much better view of that than I do.
Hi, yeah, Ken Miglarelli, Miglarelli Farm. I don't know, myself and other participants, have product all through the winter. So it would be nice to have another outlet to sell product. But what do you mean by, you're speaking of just having it every other week for,
November and December.
For this winter.
and then what? In
January, February, March, we would open it up to more weeks.
Okay. Would it be every week?
Well, I don't think we're there yet.
The concern, I think, I'll speak for myself, not the other board members. I love the farmers market, support it, like you guys to be here. The concern is having to turn away other groups like the DAR if you're booked in every Sunday. So if we have a couple of breathing spaces, I think that would, a Sunday here or there that we could offer somebody else so that we don't have to turn another group away.
Yeah, and my concern that we talked about the last time was I would like to have one weekend a month open for other groups to use.
Right.
I was concerned about exclusive use.
And I'll just also say, I was also approached by 2 neighbors urging us to consider not going to every week because of the ruckus around here.
Right. Well, I'd like to address that. I know there was some issues, but I thought they were rectified with trucks and so forth,
There were some issues early on that were absolutely rectified.
Okay.
But I think just the amount of commotion that
Right.
it takes to set anything up, whether it's the DAR auction or
Right.
Sinterklaas or the farmer's market, it's just a disruption for the neighbors, and we have to be respectful of that.
right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think you guys have done a very good job about accommodating any concerns that have arisen. But I can totally understand the neighbors thinking, oh, it's going to be every Sunday,
Right.
But
I guess, obviously, we'd like to have every Sunday, but we do whatever we could to get more Sundays. I guess one problem I see with that is people's buying habits. If they know it's an every Sunday, they don't have to think about it. Where if it's 3 Sundays out of the month, it's, what, is it open?
little
So
awkward.
we just have to be on top of advertising and making sure that they know when it's open and when it's closed. Where if it's every Sunday, like the way the outdoor market is, it's just a no-brainer.
I personally love the town hall. I would love it to be used every single day. I think that's what it's here for. I
Right.
love it being used for the community. It's difficult when one group has an excessive use of it over other groups. I think that's where there's an issue
Is it
that we have to
Is
balance.
it used more on Sundays or Saturdays, or is it like a mixed bag during the winter?
It's mixed.
Yeah, it can be anything.
Okay. Well, whatever you could do for us, that would be appreciated.
Okay.
Thanks, Ken.
Let me just say that, I mean, if we're down to thinking through alternatives, the idea of having a couple of weeks in November and December available and letting people know and then having January, February, March, and April? I think the 4 months, yeah. Every Sunday, I think, would be probably a compromise that would help, because we get advertised that starting the first of the year, we're going every Sunday. The real issue is the point Ken made about routines. It won't simply be twice as much business for the market. It will be a
Exponentially,
geometric
yeah.
increase, because people will get in the routine as they do in the summer. We think that some of the reason why the winter isn't quite as popular as the summer is not only competition, because other markets are developing, but also because people have to think about what they're going to do when they sometimes go elsewhere rather than come here. And if we had it every week and every Sunday, it would be an easier sell for people. Yeah.
I'm sorry, when does it move outside? Is that early May?
Mother's
No,
Day.
Mid-May.
May 10th,
Mother's Day.
15th, yeah.
I also think it's important to remember that during the summer months, you guys aren't here at all.
Right.
So it's not like you're here year-round.
52 weeks a year, exactly. Thank you.
Good point, Gina. Dee Dee Leiber on the Farmers Market Board as well. And I just wanted to say, actually, I don't think we would need the town hall in November. We go through Thanksgiving outside, so.
Bruce, but your suggestion was in the latter part of the year, you would not do it every week, but every third, or that it wouldn't be every week.
Try to
but
leave
maybe
one
three
open.
times a
Yeah.
month. Because I guess we can get a request during those months from somebody like the DAR, so you really, the farmer's market is wonderful, it brings a lot to the town, and nobody's saying that, but what we're saying to anybody else who wants to use the town hall, you can't.
On a Sunday,
And,
in
yeah,
the winter.
On a Sunday, and, and then it will be an entitlement, so that if we ever want to cut back, we will hear huge cries of outrage.
Another neighbor.
Michelle Donner, neighbor one house removed, volunteer at the market, shopper at the market, supporter of local farms, local business, local economy. And before the wiser folk among us mentioned the exponential increase that we could expect from a regularly scheduled market, because we hear from people, is the market next week? Oh, I missed it. People get confused. That was my thought, was that people are going to get used to it. I plan my purchases around every 2 weeks. Doesn't work so well. Rather not go to the supermarket. We do have a lot of competition now. There are numerous markets in the vicinity. We've got a farmer here that employs many people. We need to keep that going and keep it local and do what we can for Rhinebeck and our bringing in all these people who we see go to the restaurants and we see come from the stores and they're carrying around their bags. But the market is a destination. This Hudson Valley award-winning market is a big deal. It gets a lot of press, and we've had people who come because Chelsea Clinton used the market bags as her wedding gift. They're still coming for that. We need to encourage as much as we can for this market as we can.
Well, what do we want to do? It's a discussion item. We don't have to call a vote.
Well, Bruce, I think in fairness to the farmer's market, and correct me if I'm wrong, they'd like to know sooner rather than later for planning purposes as to what we're going to do.
How are we going to decide I'm sorry, Joe, how are we going to decide which Sunday is off?
I don't know. We can just ask them. We can pick it ourselves. I don't think there's any magic to it. But if we wanted to go ahead so we can at least work up a contract for this year, should we do it on the basis that it would be in December 2 times and for January, February, March, and do you need April or not? And April, it would be 3 times a month just to move the ball along. Would the board consider such a contract?
I would consider going to the 4 Sundays a month after the first of the year and maybe leaving that December 1st open. Maybe that first Sunday could be free to allow for the DAR who's already applied for this year.
They're Thursday,
No,
they're
they're
Friday, Saturday,
and
the DAR is
Saturday.
Sunday the 1st.
So,
That weekend, you're pretty short.
yeah. So that way it allows us to accommodate a prior application. And it accommodates the farmer's market through the end of the year, and then maybe we could accommodate them weekly after the first of the year. I'm okay with that.
Well, so far I haven't heard a consensus on that. I've heard 2 other board members.
I'm just
and
giving my opinion, Joe.
That's
I'm
fine.
not saying it's a consensus.
Gina, we have to reach a resolution.
I'm
I've
not
heard-
fine with it.
What?
I'm not fine with it. I have the same reservation. I think that we should have at least one weekend a month where some other organization can use town hall. So,
So the first weekend of the month, maybe, is that a good one to keep open? Just,
Why don't we ask the farmer's market what they would prefer in terms of, and they don't have to decide it right now, because we'll draft a contract. I don't know if we care which weekend.
well, I think there has to
Keep
be
open.
consistency. I mean, I think that's the whole point.
There will be consistency. They will pick a weekend. We'll run it by the board, and we'll decide it, and it will always be that weekend. So people coming into the clerk's office for use of the town hall on a Sunday will be told it's only available the second Sunday, the first Sunday, the third. We'll keep the same Sunday.
Joe, can I just ask, John, do you have any easy memory of how many Sundays last year, other than us?
I'm checking that now.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for,
Great
too.
minds think alike, okay.
I was going to ask the same question. Do I need to speak in that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's not working, you haven't turned it on.
Yeah, it's working.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing to consider is holidays. Because like in December, you're talking 2 in December
Right.
still?
Yeah.
Like Christmas falls on the 20, on a Wednesday, so the Sunday before would be really good. So if we did December, it would be nice to do the 8th and the 22nd. And this way we fall just before Christmas, which is a good buying day. And then the other, like January, there's no holiday. February, wherever Easter may fall, or Valentine's Day for the flower people would be good. So I don't know where that all falls. So would it be good if we kind of put our heads together and came up with dates?
Sure.
And
That
then
would
got
be
back to
helpful.
you?
That would be helpful, Ken.
I don't know when our next meeting is.
Not for a while, we can do the email.
Okay,
Could I ask you a question?
sure.
I was at a recent farmer's market, and there was I don't know what you call it, a booth or a concession stand advocating tourism in Ulster County. I hadn't seen that before, and I don't know, could you explain that, or are we,
Which market was it? Was it
it was
the,
a Sunday market.
Yeah, we have a nonprofit week that every week goes to a different nonprofit. And and we don't pick and choose that way. They come to us and we accept them. And so this is I think it was it was something about tourism in Ulster County, and they came, we let them have it for the week. Simple as that.
The Rhinebeck Chamber has been there as well.
That's fine. Promoting Rhinebeck is one thing, and use of the town hall. On the other hand, to use the town hall to promote Ulster County is a question I have. But, I don't want to run the farmer's market. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's still municipal property.
Yeah, it's still right. And we do sort of represent the area. The market is the market reflects the Hudson, the sort of mid-Hudson Valley. It's not, I mean, we have it here, and we get the notoriety for it here, and the merchants benefit from it here, but in fact, a lot of our vendors are from the immediate area, and so across the river is part of that.
And
I
plus-
wouldn't have,
plus
Steve, I wouldn't have raised it if it was promoting tourism in Dutchess County. It's just a different county.
But the market also pulls from the other side of the river.
Yeah, no,
I mean, there are customers, and what the homeowner,
Oh, I'm just thinking
Michelle.
January.
you know, having a market here also brings people to the area, so they are spending money to other businesses.
So,
One more
sorry.
point about the not-for-profit table. I don't believe we have it at the winter market. I could be wrong, but Ken, do you recall? Do we have the not-for-profit table at the winter market? I don't think so. I think it's just at the summer market. Or Michelle, do you know? 'Cause yeah, I don't remember ever seeing it at the winter market.
Okay.
So I think it's sort of moot in terms of town hall.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Your point well taken, Joe, for the village.
so you're going to come back to us with dates that would work for you, and you're going to get with them and come up with fees that would work for us. And at the next meeting, we can nail all this down?
well, as to the fees, will be presented to the town board. I can't decide fees alone, but we'll
No,
work
but
on a
you'll-
draft.
you'll work
We'll work
with-
on a draft contract so that
And,
we can.
and maybe include floor cleanings. Maybe there's one midway through, or
I'm sorry, say that again?
floor cleaning schedule.
Have a cleaning schedule in,
Yeah.
yeah, we have something already in there, and we'll make it a little bit more robust on the floors.
Great.
Can you put this on for the next meeting?
And
Uh,
there were two dates, by the way. The April 14th of this year, the high school used it, that was a Sunday, and March 17th, the Vegetarian Society had it. So that's January through April. You had two other Sunday users.
And the vegetarian dinner is in the evening, which would be after
They
the
had
market.
it all day, though.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Set up and stuff?
Yeah.
Figured there'd been leprechauns there that day. Okay, so back
St.
to
Patrick's Day.
approving, under business items, approving the contract, no, approving the town hall usage by the Daughters of the American Revolution on Sunday, December 1st. I make the motion, is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Next item on the discussion is Way Road and 9G Cemetery. Who's that? You? You?
It sounds like it would be me, but I didn't put it on there.
Kathy, I think, put it on, but I would
speak to
table
it.
this till Kathy.
I'm ready to get, I can give you some information, and we can at least chew on it. There's a couple of points. Kathy brought up the point that she believed in general municipal law, there was a statute that said an abandoned cemetery was taken care of by the highway. The clerk and I did a search
By
today.
the town or the highway?
Highway Department. We did a search today through general code, general law, and did not find that. There's, as you can imagine, a lot of sections speaking to abandoned cemeteries. There's a question as to whether or not this is abandoned, because there's a tax exempt status that's filed on this piece of land every year by St. Paul's Church in Red Hook. So I think that the tax exemption, and I have a call out to the assessor's office, sort of says that it's not abandoned because it's currently tax exempt. By a cursory reading of these statutes, if we start taking care of it, we've accepted care. Maybe we can do something with straightening out the headstones. We should get Kathy involved. I don't think it's a highway department issue, but they may be the best ones to do it. Or maybe, there's also a provision for setting up a volunteer cemetery committee group to do the ongoing care. I, went by and looked at it, and it's beautiful. It does need some care. So we should figure out the best way to do it without putting the town at a big liability. And, you know,
Maintenance.
it's worthwhile doing it. It's a really
Well,
pretty.
we maintain it now. There was a board resolution decades ago that we were responsible for it. The highway was responsible for it.
Oh, so that's where it is. It's a town, a Rhinebeck.
Town board made a decision.
Okay.
Because the owners are in Red Hook.
Right.
The thing we have to be careful with this is we have a lot of other abandoned cemeteries.
So if
Yes,
we
we do.
start doing this,
Well, maybe we need to do this, but I think your research is, you got to bring it to an end. You know, are we really responsible for
well,
these?
that's when you start taking care of your accepted responsibility. Maybe we involve the cemetery committee and look at all these other cemeteries around. It's just shame to let it, you know, to let it linger, because it is a piece
Well,
of history.
And the historical societies, the different factions, they're interested too.
I think you have another issue floating around here with respect to labor and who does it, and are we putting something in that will be possible grievances if we take on other cemeteries. So I think it's a complicated issue.
So what do we want to do about it? Pursue it, look at it?
Table it.
I'll
till-
talk to the cemetery committee.
There should be a meeting between the highway and the cemetery committee
And the
before it comes,
historical.
before it comes back here.
Yeah.
to-
Highway.
Okay, I'll set that up.
Highway, cemetery, historical.
Okay, anything else on this one? No?
Nope.
No.
Budget timetable, Joe?
Well, we got to set up a timetable. I don't know if Shelley has sent out things to the
She did.
When?
departments.
Well, I know Gary called me and said Shelley sent him out his budget, and he asked me to pick it up and drop it back to Shelley.
Okay.
So I'm presuming she did to everyone. Why would she
No,
just do
could be going
to
out
cemetery?
piecemeal too.
Yeah,
Because I haven't gotten anything for
either.
department. Elizabeth, have you gotten anything for your departments?
Web.
You have gotten, so it must be going out piecemeal. Do we want to try to set a date when we'll get a preliminary budget?
It's not up to us. We have to receive it. So I think, when's the official date when we have to receive it? Does anybody have a?
I
In
thought it
in the
was
minutes
November
from
12th or
2 meetings
something.
ago, Tom gave us a date when we receive it. Whenever that
In
was.
September.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember. Do you want me to go check?
No, it's all right, but we can meet ahead of time if we want, but,
Well, it'd be much easier to meet if we had a tentative budget.
okay, so then we wait for the budget. I mean, I think having a strategy session might be worthwhile, unless everybody has their own game plans.
I think the game plan is to get a reasonable budget that we all understand.
Okay.
I don't.
What, have you guys heard about the new tax cap assessment?
What is that? It's lowered the tax cap?
Yeah. It's about 1.66.
Is that just for us because, or is it?
It's where the cost of living and, you know,
Oh,
all
okay,
the.
so it's our computation of ours.
1.666 for the devil.
It's actually, it doesn't, it's more hooked to inflation than it is to the CPI.
It's an inflationary,
Yeah,
it's
because,
gonna be challenging for us this year.
Yeah.
yeah, and
it's gonna be very
we got to remember the
difficult.
library, they were already, their request would put us over already, right?
Yeah,
So,
but that's a permissive referendum issue, so it would be,
yeah, but we'll have to eat it.
Well, wait a minute, if that is successful, does that mean we have to raise the money from the taxes and would throw us over the tax cap?
yeah, but it's, if the people want it, that's fine.
Then they're voting for a tax increase in effect.
Okay, people know that.
Well, that's what they have to know. And, I mean, Steve, both times he was here, he said that it's going to blow the cap, so.
Okay,
So, let me just ask another question on that. Yeah, I don't know how much they're trying to raise, but if that takes all our tax room, plus we got to give up other things. Are we
We'll be
saying we
exceeding-
got to give up other things?
No,
that
we will have to exceed our tax cap.
Or exceed the tax
Yeah.
cap? That's the choice.
Tax cap is really tight this year. Our healthcare
It
alone
was very
will
tight last year.
put us right around
It was down to the wire last year.
Well, they're asking for 42. Last year, we were allowed 39 at 2%. So we already raised that, so 39 is a good plan. We're already 3,000 over, assuming
Well,
that that
they're
goes
asking
through.
for an additional 42.
Additional 42.
Yeah. So. And.
So it sounds like 42 is getting close to what our tax cap is, if we want to stay
Yeah, that's what I
under the
said.
tax
I
cap.
tried to say
Okay.
it's a little over what our cap is.
Can
So,
we put it on the new town credit card?
depends whose name it's in. All right, next one is town credit card. I talked to Tom today. His feeling was that the card that he has was for MailChimp, that was it. It's got a $1,000 limit. And his guidance was, if you want to use it for something else, then get another card.
Our town policy states that we can only have one card, so I
We can
said,
change our policy.
or we could cancel that and issue one to the clerk until, if you remember, the clerk always held the credit card. Our former clerk retired, it was canceled, we hadn't hired a new clerk, we assigned it to the supervisor. Maybe we should assign it back to the clerk.
I'm fine with it. The reason we changed it was because the former clerk, it hit her credit rating. So,
I'm aware.
that-
But we canceled it, and in canceling it, we bounced a couple of things, but, we have the resolution. The concern the last meeting was that we not have cards zinging all over, so if that's a concern, we should stick to our one-card policy.
I'm okay with that. Is there no card that allows a title only, and it can move with the person? And
See, I don't
move
believe
with the
that-
title and not, so it's not like literally in your name, John? It's,
Apparently not.
I think,
that just
Gina,
seems
we've been
ridiculous.
Are you
over this,
okay with having a card in your
and
name?
it does require a person.
Okay, so if John's okay with it, I'm okay with it. I say we cancel the one in Tom's name, put it back in the town
clerk's
clerk's name, and move forward on the stamp.
Right, and you would
Well,
put
Joel's
that.
here. Why don't we have Joel take it? Yeah.
You'd put that monthly charge on it, this $15 a month that we have for the,
MailChimp.
MailChimp.
But any charges that go on it have to be approved by the
Yes.
town board.
Yes, exactly.
So you
Like
can't,
the
if somebody
postage
wants to borrow
machine,
some.
like the
Yeah.
MailChimp is the only one I think we've approved for a yearly.
Right, and we would get the
I mean, a
credit card
monthly.
bill monthly, as we get all other bills, so if we have a problem,
Great.
we can raise
Can
it
we
at
approve that tonight then?
that time.
So we'll make a motion to cancel the current card and create a new card within the town clerk's name with a $1,000 limit and the same terms and conditions as in our policies.
Second, Bruce.
John, do you
Thank
think
you.
$1,000 is enough for the mail?
I'm,
Assuming the test is successful.
right, that's kind of what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, because the tax,
I know that we spend a great deal more than $1,000 every year, but I would think that in the course of a month, that wouldn't be an issue. I don't think we would have that much postage.
and if you had a bulk mailing, you don't have the postage meter, you could take it to,
We could take
Kingston.
it to, right.
yeah, which is hugely time-saving. And
You know,
that could be paid for with a check.
With the tax bills, when you send out, those must be a huge,
But we're just saying, we wouldn't stamp them, we would, because we don't have a postage meter that we're beholden to use, because it's funded, we could take them to bulk mailing in Kingston, that saves half a day of labor running, 5,000 pieces of mail through a machine. So it's a time saver, a labor saver, and a money
Money
saver.
saver.
right, but I thought that this device or this thing allows us to put postage on envelopes without a postage meter.
Yes, it
No.
does.
The online postage allows you to print postage from a normal printer from a computer. So you get on your computer, you go to a website, and you print postage from there, and it bills your card. So everybody would be using, people in the town would not have to come to this office to use the postage meter anymore. They could just print an envelope off from their desktop printer that would have postage on it. Or you can print labels. So that's how that works.
The only point I'm trying to make is maybe we ought to authorize a credit line of more than $1,000 if we're going to be bumping up the limit, as long as that.
I just don't think we use that much postage.
Yeah,
in a
if
month.
John's
Okay.
thinking he doesn't need it, if he sees he needs it in the future, we can always raise the limit.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, passes. All right, number 5, use of the transfer station for file storage. Is
I
this
had-
fingernail files or?
Bruce and I have been talking about using the center bay at the transfer station to store files. We now store them at the highway garage, and we got a huge number of files there. Kathy is leery about the weight up there. And if we have this space at the transfer station and it's feasible, maybe we ought to think about moving files there. Now, that will require probably some construction of shelves. I think the files are kept on shelves, and a coordinated move. It's not something that I think can be undertaken right now. I think if we have to do some building there, Bob Fitzpatrick maybe can put it on his list for a winter project. So we just are preliminarily thinking about moving files up there as a possible solution for storage space.
Great. I like it.
Any other discussion items?
No. Gina, here's the research on cemeteries for your,
Okay.
All right, Joel, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Bruce.
First of all, I'd like to invite all of you to a special forum that I'm having tomorrow here in this room entitled Solutions. That 1.66% tax cap is going to be hard. Back in December 2011, I convinced the Dutchess County Association of Supervisors and Mayors to embrace this idea of a county-wide health insurance consortium for cities, towns, and villages so that folks like the town of Rhinebeck, you folks, could save money on health insurance for town employees. Last year, my good friend Mark Molinaro, the county executive, sent out a letter, I believe, to all the municipalities asking for cities, towns, and villages to join in. I have a feeling that not too many municipalities have joined in. In Tompkins County, they're saving about $800,000 a year with this, without cutting one penny from the municipal employees' health insurance. So that they have a population 1/3 ours.
Joel, just to let you know, we are looking into the county's proposal, and it puts a lot more risk on us. It's a pool.
All
It
insurance
didn't
is a
happen.
pool.
It didn't happen overnight in Tompkins County. It took, because it was involving a lot of different municipalities and the county government. It took a few years of meetings and meetings and meetings. I just thought I'd throw it out there. Not my place to tell you, but I think there's some potential savings there. 7 years ago, the Westchester County executive at the time, Andy Spano, released a report about Westchester County, about $34 million a year that Westchester County taxpayers were paying for Medicaid and Child Health Plus and Family Health Plus healthcare benefits for people that are working and members of their families. Why do I bring that up? They have about 3 times the population of us in Dutchess County. ipso facto QED, I would humbly submit to you that we here in Dutchess County, the taxpayers, all of us, are spending over $10 million a year on Family Health Plus and Medicaid and Child Health Plus, food stamps and the rest of it. I'm not saying we should take away those benefits from those workers, but my point is there are places in the country that have moved to force profitable corporations like Walmart, for instance. Washington, D.C., just last month passed a law saying, if you're not paying your workers $12.50 an hour, you're a big box retail chain store, you need to turn that around. These are some of the things we're going to be talking about tomorrow. I was talking with Charlie North last Thursday morning up at the fairgrounds. He seemed to like this idea of LOIS, locally owned import substitution. The Chamber of Commerce is always talking about think local, buy local. I guess they did this in Saugerties. They sent out a survey to all the businesses to see what services and products and goods that they need that maybe could be provided locally and as opposed to coming elsewhere. Charlie seemed to like my idea of trying to do a survey here in Rhinebeck or Dutchess County. Again, I would just remind you, if you haven't yet, please go to the Northern Dutchess Alliance website, which is northerndutchess.org. 5 years ago, you had Sustainable Hudson Valley and Marist and Michael Schumann. They put a report out, a blueprint for economic development, talking about this, LOIS, locally owned import substitution. And instead of the businesses and the municipalities and the individuals here in Dutchess County subsidizing, as town board member Gil brought up earlier, businesses from outside Dutchess County, why can't we find out what we need that's not being provided, that's not being manufactured, and make sure that happens? The city of Cleveland has done that. Anyway, you want to find out more about all that, that's tomorrow, 5:30 here at Rhinebeck Town Hall. Folks have come to me about the 4-H snack bar. That's partly county funded through the Cornell Cooperative Extension. Just over the last week, and I was parking cars at the fair, but also I know people all over the fair. And for many, many years, 4-H was funded through Cornell Cooperative Extension from the county to run the snack bar. And that didn't happen this year because 4-H, Cornell Cooperative Extension couldn't afford the insurance because there have been, I'm talking about massive cuts. Over $500,000, well over $500,000 cut just in the last several years. So things
Who
like
cut them? Is it the state or the county?
the county primarily. I sort of talked till I'm blue in the face up on the 6th floor of the county office building about Schenectady County, because Schenectady County is doing two really amazing things that could save a lot of money for taxpayers that we're not doing here. The solar panels on the county buildings, no money down, power purchase agreements, 30% savings on electric bills, and the Canadian prescription drug option for county employees and retirees. And so to me, there's no reason for this. The Green Team Community Gardening Program, if you saw the exhibit this past week up at the 4-H booth, it's in Beacon now, it's not in Poughkeepsie. And I'd also say there's another citizen, a denizen of Rhinebeck, if you will, a man named James Coughlin. Nobody in the media is reporting this. I know that the Observer is going to cover this. But Cablevision 2 weeks ago reported that Jim Coughlin, the Dutchess County Comptroller, says that even just a $125 million jail expansion, just the interest payments alone would be $9 million a year. And he mentioned on Cablevision that we're talking about a gravy train of special interest. I mean, he's really taking a hard line in the sand. It was almost like listening to me talk.
Are you saying that the controller is not for the jail expansion?
That's correct. And I know the Observer is going to cover this. Nobody else in the media, basically. It was all over Cablevision 2 weeks ago. But and folks in the county government right now are pushing for $150 or $200 million expansion. Remember, he said just the interest payments alone on $125 million, not even $150 or $200 million, would be $9 million a year. There have been some interesting things. Yesterday's Poughkeepsie Journal pointed out the Barred Prison Initiative, recidivism rate only 4%. I've been talking for 10 years about programs like that from Newark and Brooklyn and Albany. There's a lot of things that we could and should be doing. I would also say that 50 years ago, the March on Washington. Why am I bringing that up? The NAACP was one of the groups mobilizing over the weekend for that. I did not, just so everybody is aware, I did not vote no to deputy sheriffs in 4 different school districts, Arlington, Dover, Pauling, and Wappingers. I voted to abstain, just so everybody's aware. The NAACP, Legal Defense and Education Fund, has brought up a ton of issues. surrounding law officers in schools. It is not without trepidation that I bring up this issue. All I wanted during that discussion at the August 13th full board meeting, I just wanted to have a sort of an open discussion. And that was not made possible, frankly. You can watch the webcast, view it for yourself, and that's why I voted to abstain. And I see, viewing tonight's Rhinebeck Town Board meeting, that I'm not the only elected official representing Rhinebeck that abstains occasionally. But they counted it as a no. That's about all I have. I'm at 876-2488, 453-2105. Thank you. Happy September.
I have a question, Joel, sorry. And it's not going to be the one I asked you a couple months ago that they told me not to ask that.
What was that?
It was about the emergency preparedness generators, things like that. So my question is, you come here, you give us many ideas that sound fiscally viable if enough people get into them. Enough towns do that. It's a bottoms-up approach you're taking. And we hear shared and consolidation and everything from the top down. Is the county doing anything to work with other counties to pool on things like health insurance, these different departments that could easily cover multiple counties? Is there anything going on like that?
I'll tell you, there
Question.
are literally 30 counties in the state that are part of the Municipal Electricity and Gas Alliance, MEGA. The website is megaenergy.org.
But is our county doing that?
Is ours.
No, 4 or 5 years ago, when we were running the show, we passed a resolution for that. No, we're not doing that. But I'm telling you, Ulster County, Greene, practically every, like I said, literally dozens of counties. There's a lot more that we could and should be doing. It's megaenergy.org. If the next time you see the folks that you know in the county government, feel free to ask them that. It frustrates me to no end. Believe it or not, in April, I know nobody here may believe this, but believe it or not, all 25 legislators voted for my resolution for solar panels on the county buildings. So the county executive wouldn't sign off on it. I've talked to Chris Gardner. I've talked to the Schenectady County attorney. You don't have to, Dutchess County doesn't have to spend any money.
Why wouldn't,
Ask him yourself. Your guess is as good as mine.
so it was
It was unanimous, all
Unanimously
25.
passed.
All 25.
just for solar panels?
For solar panels
Which
on
we've
county
seen.
buildings. There's something called power purchase agreements I just became aware of this year for no money down. I've had talked with Mark Fubar of Monolith Solar. MonolithSolar.com is the company that's working with Schenectady County, but I'm not promoting them. There's HudsonSolar.com. There's all sorts of different solar companies. But literally, the Dutchess County Department of Public Works does not have to hire anybody to do a site visit. It's no money, no risk. So forgive me for venting, but there is a lot. There is a lot more that Dutchess County should be doing.
Okay, so just to recap, the only thing that our county has ever done was to try and share on power, electricity, or something like that you said.
That resolution passed, but
But
they've
that's-
never implemented it. I believe there is a regional, I could be wrong, I believe there may be a regional purchasing initiative.
Yeah, remember the guy came and gave us the,
I don't think it's intra-county,
Nation.
it's just for
that's only for Dutchess.
Dutchess.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
so,
paper supplies.
so I guess where I'm going is,
Printing.
you come in here and you get different reactions from us, and you don't really care, I know.
I do care.
Well,
Au contraire, mon
But
frère.
it's the publicity. But the real thing is, you guys are the ones who are supposed to lead by example. We're the ones that are in the trenches. And if you come here and you tell us to do this stuff and give us these ideas, then I'd really like to see the county at least doing something. And I don't care whether it's...
Instead of just taking our tax,
Yeah.
our sales tax back.
Yeah, and I understand there's a lot of politics and a lot of dysfunction and all kinds of things, but if you got a message to take back to them, take back that at least one pissed off town official says, why don't you do it yourselves? Why don't you start sharing and working with other counties?
Help
and-
save
and
us
then-
money.
Then you'll save money, and then you won't be taking our money away.
Help
You
us-
can say
help
two pissed off town officials.
Okay, we got two
Can
now.
I say 4?
Sure. You want to do a resolution? They love our resolutions.
They'll just say it's parochial.
It's okay.
I've come up,
It would be great to have a Tompkins County health insurance model that we could buy into. Our health insurance for our employees, which is necessary, is our single highest line item in our budget. And, just meeting the increases that we can anticipate, every year health insurance is going to go up, we're hearing 10 to 12%. That's almost our tax cap. So, I'm looking at the workman's comp that the county's offering, and it's a big liability for us to sign on to something like that. So, yeah, I second what Bruce says.
You don't
Anything.
trust the county?
No, we trust the county. We just like to see the county be, Coughlin's got a lot of good ideas. Coughlin's got
to be.
why isn't Ulster and Dutchess? Why isn't Columbia and Dutchess? Why aren't we working together?
Putnam.
Why aren't we pooling that way? That's where you get the numbers quickly. If you bring in the county.
I've been pushing the municipal, John was there. John was I think, John, you remember, it was 08 or 09. We passed the resolution for Dutchess County to work in conjunction with dozens of other counties, cities, towns. There's actually school districts and municipalities in Dutchess County that are part of MEGA. The town of Rhinebeck could join. Check out megaenergy.org. It's Municipal Electricity and Gas Alliance.
And we're all solar. We're good.
You might be able to
Thank
save
you,
a little bit
Joel.
more. I'm trying how I can.
We're going to hot air power, too.
I think we've done it.
Do we have anything in executive session that we're going to
Yes,
take
we
action
do.
on? Action on?
Take action on, I don't think it requires
And the
a
issue I
formal
have
vote.
can just be a discussion item.
Okay. So then I'm making a motion that we go into executive session to discuss contract and personnel issues.
Well, the contract, our union contracts.
Bargaining, and that no action will be taken, so the
And I have
media
a
may.
personnel issue.
And a personnel issue, okay. Is there a
Thank you
second?
all. Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll be there in 3 minutes.